Have you ever considered memory lapses or changes in behavior to be perfectly normal and unavoidable aspects of the aging process? You share the company of others. A significant number of people fail to recognize the early warning signs of dementia, only to come to terms with their significance when it is no longer able to intervene in a timely manner. How would you feel if you were able to recognize these early warning symptoms before they had a negative impact on your life or the life of someone you care about? In the following video, we will discuss 10 subtle indications of dementia that are frequently overlooked by people. The identification of these signs has the ability to considerably improve your quality of life, guarantee that you will obtain proper medical care in a timely manner, and potentially halt the progression of this problem. In what ways does amnesia differ from a more serious problem, and what are the symptoms that distinguish the two? What are the changes that we ought to be concerned about? What are some possible steps that you may do right now to reduce the likelihood that you will get dementia? Come along with us as we discuss these very important subjects. I want to make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, that you subscribe to Wise Senior Health, and that you touch the notification bell so that you are never going to miss out on important health advice like these. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. If you are tuning in from a different place, please let us know in the comments section below where you are located. Our passion is to establish a connection with our audience. There is a wide range of symptoms that are connected with a deterioration in memory, reasoning, or other mental skills, and dementia is a term that is used to characterize these symptoms. It has a substantial impact on day-to-day living and can have an effect on communication, the ability to solve problems, and the ability to carry out duties at regular intervals. Alzheimer's disease is not a singular illness, a group of symptoms that are brought on by damage to the cells in the brain. Memory, logic, and conduct are all affected by the symptoms, which frequently make tasks that individuals perform on a daily basis more difficult. Alzheimer's disease is a frequent kind of dementia that is marked by significant changes in both behavior and memory characteristics. Vascular dementia is a form of dementia that is caused by circulation issues within the brain. Hallucinations that are extremely vivid and substantial sleep disruptions are two of the hallmarks of Lewy body dementia. Individuals who are younger are more likely to be affected by frontotemporal dementia, which has an impact on both personality and behavior. A fast diagnosis and effective treatment are both dependent on having a solid understanding of the differences between these categories. Because each type has a distinct impact on the brain, it is necessary to develop individualized treatment plans in order to provide appropriate care and management. In this article, we will discuss the 10 most important warning symptoms of dementia that everyone ought to be aware of. Memory loss is an important early warning that doctors should keep an eye out for, especially in relation to recent events. It is quite normal to lose your keys every once in a while, but if you repeatedly forget discussions or crucial appointments, this could be an indication of a more serious problem. There are a lot of people who find themselves asking the same questions over and over again, which may be frustrating not just for themselves, but also for those around them. Consider the situation of a grandmother who is having trouble remembering the names of her grandchildren, or a treasured member of the family who is in the middle of a conversation and suddenly loses their line of thought. The issues that we face are more than just an inconvenience. They are able to have a significant impact on relationships as well as day-to-day life. When memory lapses start to interfere with your day-to-day activities, it is imperative that you seek the advice of a qualified medical practitioner. An accurate diagnosis made in a timely manner lays the path for improved treatment options and meticulous planning. Every single one of us has had the sensation of being unable to find the appropriate word. However, if this occurs on a regular basis, such as when the individual uses words that are not accurate, forgets the names of common items, or avoids engagement in conversations in order to avoid making mistakes, this may be an indication that dementia is beginning to develop. People may, for instance, refer to a pen as a writing stick, or they may find it difficult to finish a simple statement without tripping over their words. Both of these examples are examples of difficulties that people may experience. In order to improve one's quality of life and social interaction, it is vital to address these difficulties as soon as possible. Effective communication is fundamental to social interaction. If you are able to recognize these symptoms at an early stage, your chances of properly controlling the disease will increase. There is a decrease in motivation. Have you observed that someone you care about is becoming less interested in the activities that they use to take pleasure in? There is a possibility that this will develop into something of great significance. On numerous occasions, apathy, which is typically characterized by a lack of motivation, manifests itself as an early indicator of dementia. It is possible that this will emerge as a reluctance to go outside, a lack of enthusiasm for meeting with friends, or a withdrawal from activities that used to provide joy in the past. A person who is passionate about gardening might stop taking care of their plants, while a person who is devoted to reading might stop purchasing books altogether. In spite of the fact that it is sometimes associated with despair, persistent apathy may be an indication of more significant changes in brain function. The motivation of your loved one to continue being active and involved is of the utmost importance. Ongoing behavior of this sort, however, need the assistance of a qualified medical practitioner. It is a regular tumble. Despite the fact that stumbling over your own feet might not seem like a significant problem, falling over and over again could be an early marker of cognitive deterioration. The findings of studies such as the one that was published in the year 2021 in the journal Frontiers in Neuroscience suggest that older persons who eventually get Alzheimer's disease may be at a greater risk of falling for a considerable amount of time before they are diagnosed with the disease. These occurrences may be indicative of subtle variations in balance, coordination, or reaction time, all of which are directly related to the health of the brain. In the event that you encounter similar conduct in another individual, you should not dismiss it as merely clumsiness. This could be a sign that further investigation is required, wandering around areas that are familiar to you. Think about this. When you lose track of the path to the grocery store, or to the place where your best friend lives, those places that you have been to several times before. This degree of bewilderment stands out as one of the earliest indications of dementia that is the most worrying. It is possible for something to take place in the neighborhood of a person. In situations where they have been familiar with a location for a number of years, they might require hints or advice. This is not merely a case of amnesia on my part. It is an indication that the brain's ability to process spatial information is deteriorating. In a circumstance like this, it is required that you get medical assistance as soon as possible. It is possible that the onset of dementia is indicated by symptoms such as difficulty sleeping, waking up many times during the night, or feeling excessively exhausted during the day. The abnormal sleep behaviors that are associated with certain forms of dementia, such as Lewy body dementia, include talking or moving around when the individual is sleeping. To keep one's brain in the best possible condition, it is essential to get enough quality sleep. It is possible that cognitive processes will decline more quickly in its absence. You should give this some thought for a bit. How frequently have you come across someone who has expressed their dissatisfaction about their inability to sleep for an extended period of time? It is important not to ignore ongoing sleep problems. The early detection and treatment of sleep issues can have a significant impact on the overall health and welfare of an individual. The presence of early indicators of dementia may be indicated by physical symptoms such as a stooped posture, a reduction in movement speed, or difficulties encountered when walking. Modifications such as shuffling while walking or continually leaning forward in a seated or standing position go beyond the scope of what is considered possible from an orthopedic standpoint. There is a widespread correlation between these signs and neurological issues. When cognitive symptoms are present, it is essential to seek the advice of a healthcare practitioner in order to investigate the possibility of probable connections to dementia. Struggling to complete ordinary chores. A task that was once considered simple and uncomplicated, such as preparing a meal, handling finances, or following a recipe, can suddenly become challenging. Take, for example, a situation in which a person is utterly unaware that they have left a pot on the stove to boil, or when they are having trouble organizing their invoices in order to pay them. Problems like these, which are sometimes dismissed as nothing more than stress or a normal part of becoming older, may in fact be an indication of the beginning of cognitive impairment at an earlier age. There are difficulties that the brain encounters when it comes to processing and organizing even the most basic information. Taking action at an earlier stage can assist in maintaining independence for a longer amount of time. A decreased interest for participating in conversations and debates. Withdrawal from social interactions is a subtle but significant signal of dementia development. There is a possibility that they will avoid engaging in group interactions, maintain silence during family get-togethers, or completely stop initiating talks. It is possible, for instance, that you will notice a person you hold dear becoming distracted during talks or failing to respond when they are addressed. Even if they can say that they are exhausted or simply not in the mood, persistent disengagement is a sign that there is a more serious problem at play. Maintaining an open communication and seeking the support of professionals can both contribute to an improvement in your overall well-being. Maintain a steady focus with very little eye movement. According to research, people who are suffering cognitive decline may demonstrate changes in their eye activity, such as less eye movement and a more fixed gaze during the course of their day. According to research that were published in the Journal of the American Medical Association's Journal of Ophthalmology, changes in the retina have the capacity to predict Alzheimer's disease as far as 17 years before the beginning of symptoms. Even while the physical indications are not immediately obvious, they are quite significant. In the event that you witness a person experiencing difficulties with depth perception, colliding with things, or gazing vacantly, this may be an indication of neurological changes that require immediate care. Are there any ways to avoid developing dementia? Despite the fact that there is no infallible strategy to prevent dementia, adopting healthy habits can significantly reduce the risk of developing the condition. Find out how to proceed. Make it a routine to engage in regular physical activity. As little as 30 minutes of walking every day can have a major impact on the health of your brain. Learn about the food of the Mediterranean. If you want to improve your diet, you should prioritize eating fish, olive oil, a wide variety of veggies, and complete grains. Be sure to keep your mind active. Engage in activities such as solving puzzles, reading books, or working on developing new abilities. Interact with other people. By spending quality time with the people you care about, you can strengthen the connections in your brain. Enjoy a rejuvenating night's sleep. Make it a goal to get a full 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep every single night. Additionally, in order to effectively manage illnesses such as high blood pressure and diabetes, it is important to refrain from smoking and to limit the amount of alcohol that you consume. Inspections of the eyes and ears on a regular basis, in addition to proper stress management, are necessary for ensuring that the brain remains in the best possible condition. Take immediate action and make the most of this opportunity. Take immediate action if you or someone you care about is experiencing any of these symptoms on a regular basis. The early detection of dementia is essential for the efficient management of the condition and the improvement of the quality of life overall. A speedy exam has the potential to completely revolutionize your health. Join us and be a part of the experience by coming along. I would appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so that you may watch more videos like this one, and consider becoming a member of our channel. Take advantage of several special privileges, like early access to videos, priority responses, and a great deal more. To demonstrate your support for the channel, all you need to do is click the Join button. You now have the opportunity to take the spotlight. Are there any of these signs that you have observed in yourself or in someone who is close to you? It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. In the comments section below, please share your ideas. Make it a point to check out the videos that we have selected specifically for you to watch. Your participation in our video is very appreciated, and we hope to incorporate you into our subsequent video. Phantom sensations, which are feelings that aren't founded in reality, were shown to be related with neurological degeneration, according to a groundbreaking study that was conducted in the year 2023. The manifestation of these symptoms typically occurs years before any discernible decrease in memory. A great number of people think that these disturbing experiences are unimportant and disregard them. What if, for all intents and purposes, they were your brain's first request for assistance? Today, we are going to tell you about 9 peculiar phantom feelings that could be an indication of brain degradation. There is a possibility that your brain is experiencing some difficulties if you observe any of these indicators. Number 9. Do you ever feel a light tap on your shoulder, a firm hold on your arm, or a fleeting brush against your back, only to turn around and find that no one is there? You are experiencing the sensation of ethereal hands upon you. Have you ever had this experience? Rather than being the result of simple imagination, this eerie phantom touch experience is real. Individuals who frequently experience phantom touches, such as a tight grasp, a gentle tap, or the impression of someone standing too close, showed a significantly increased probability of getting dementia, according to a study that was carried out in the year 2023. As dementia progresses, the sensory processing network in the brain starts to malfunction, which results in the generation of false touch signals that are indistinguishable from those that are caused by true contact. Individuals frequently describe the sensation of a freezing hand against their skin while they are alone, the sensation of an unexpected weight on their shoulder or back, as if an invisible presence is looming behind them, or the sensation of a detectable pull on their shirt or sleeve that prompts them to look back. A disturbing feeling of someone pulling at her sleeve was experienced by a woman who was 72 years old. Nevertheless, each time she looked, she discovered that there was no actual person present. The doctors initially assumed that she was suffering from worry, but after 2 years, they provided her with a diagnosis of early-stage dementia, which is characterized by the sensation of walking across soft or uneven terrain. A number of individuals who are in the early stages of dementia have reported experiencing an odd and unsettling sensation while walking. This experience is comparable to walking on soft cushions, or having the sensation that they are sinking into the ground. According to the findings of a study that was carried out in the year 2021, people who are experiencing early-stage cognitive decline usually experience misperceptions in their feet, which results in the sense of walking on unstable surfaces. Proprioception is impaired in dementia, which means that the brain is unable to accurately perceive the position of the body. A great number of people have reported experiencing sensations such as the floor feeling excessively soft or unstable, which is comparable to walking on sand or uneven terrain. This can result in unanticipated misjudgments in step placement and will occasionally cause them to stumble. An elderly woman, who was 69 years old at the time, began to avoid stairs because she believed they were uneven. In spite of the fact that she had no problems with her strength, she regularly grabbed at walls as she continued to walk. The symptoms of early cognitive decline, which include receiving sudden jolts of electricity in your head, were discovered during a neurological examination, despite the fact that her family were under the impression that it was simply a balance problem. If you've ever had a sudden and severe jolt in your thoughts, similar to the feeling of being shocked by electricity, what was it like? According to the findings of a study that was conducted in 2023, people who are in the early stages of cognitive loss may experience unexpected brain zaps, which are brief and jolting sensations that occur within the head. The brain experiences this condition when neurons start firing in an unpredictable manner, which makes it difficult for the brain to adequately convey data. People sometimes report feeling an unexpected jolt or surge within their mind, which is accompanied by an unusual buzzing or vibration deep within the brain. This sensation is comparable to a brief instant of mental short-circuiting. A man who was 71 years old stated that any time he sought to recollect particular memories, he would feel a violent jolt in his head. In the beginning, his physician dismissively dismissed it. However, as he started having difficulty making decisions, he went through testing for dementia, which ultimately confirmed that he was experiencing early decline. The sensation of insects scuttling across your skin, the person said. The sensation of tiny legs darting up your arm, or an itch that feels like something is crawling over your skin, is something that you may have experienced at some point in your life. Despite this, there is nothing there. According to the findings of a study that was carried out in the year 2021, certain individuals who suffer from dementia frequently experience persistent tactile hallucinations. These hallucinations are characterized by the sensations of insects crawling on their skin. This happens when the sensory nerves in the brain malfunction, sending erroneous signals to the skin and creating a misleading sense of movement that does not truly present. Misfiring sensory nerves can cause this condition. The experience that you are experiencing is not comparable to the clear and solid feel of a phantom human touch. However, it is inconsistent, fluctuating, and more difficult to define than it was before. It is common for people to describe the impression of spiders, ants, or other small insects scuttling across their arms or legs, experiencing itching or scratching as a result of invisible stimuli, and persistently swatting at something that is not actually present. The man, who was 74 years old at the time, reached the conclusion that his house was infested with bedbugs. During the night, he would wake up and scratch and swat at vermin that were not visible to him, despite the fact that exterminators did not find any evidence. Over the course of just 1 year, he began to display symptoms of cognitive impairment, which finally led to him being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. This is the feeling of water falling over your skin in a cascade. Do you remember a time when you were surprised by a drop of water that landed on your arm, head, or back, only to discover that there was nothing there when you looked? Certain early dementia patients have reported experiencing phantom sensations of water, such as the feeling of raindrops, mist, or sweat pouring down, despite the fact that their skin is completely dry. This was discovered in a study that was conducted in 2023. When the sensory cortex of the brain, which is responsible for interpreting touch, starts to malfunction, it causes the brain to send out signals that are not accurate, which results in the sensation of being wet. It has been reported that some individuals have experienced an abrupt sensation of water striking their skin. Despite the fact that there is nothing to be found, there is a mystery touch of light mist or moisture that persists, causing one to wonder if something unexpected was spilled. Despite the fact that his hands were entirely dry, a man who was 66 years old found himself in a unique circumstance. He kept wiping his hands over and over again, convinced that they were sticky. Up until the point that he started having trouble with simple mathematics, he thought it was nothing more than a nerve condition. Early cognitive impairment has been confirmed to be present according to the results of an initial neurological evaluation. According to the findings of a frightening study that was conducted in 2023, certain lifestyle choices can hasten the process of cognitive loss by as much as 43%. The inability of the brain to clear toxins is hampered by chronic sleep deprivation. which stands out as a major contributor to the problem. Ultra-processed meals are a contributor because they flood the brain with substances that cause neuroinflammatory responses. Furthermore, a reduced level of social involvement is associated with a 50% increase in the likelihood of developing dementia. By taking timely action, you will be able to reduce the likelihood of these dangers occurring. A ringing, buzzing, or mild humming sound that seems to exist exclusively for you is something that you may have encountered at some point in your life. Individuals who frequently experience phantom sounds, particularly high-pitched ringing or mechanical buzzing, are significantly more likely to develop cognitive impairment, according to the findings of a study that was carried out in the year 2022. These elusive sounds originate from neurons within the auditory cortex that are no longer functioning properly, in contrast to the conventional tinnitus that is caused by damage to the ear. Those who are experiencing this symptom frequently report hearing faint music, whispered conversations, or static sounds without being able to identify the source of these sounds. A buzzing sound that is unrelenting and low, and it continues on forever. As there is no sound, the ringing becomes increasingly loud. Despite the fact that all of the hearing tests came back normal, a guy who was 70 years old said that he was experiencing a ringing sound that was persistent. The symptoms were initially dismissed by his physician as nothing more than stress. Nonetheless, it wasn't long before his wife started to notice some concerning signals. Even the words that he was most familiar with were difficult for him to recollect. After that, a brain scan was performed, which confirmed the presence of dementia in its early stages. The third symptom is the perception of phantom heat or cold. Despite the fact that the temperature in the room was totally normal, have you ever been hit with a sudden chill or an intense heat? In a study that was conducted in 2023, it was discovered that having damage to the hypothalamus of the brain, which is an essential component in the process of controlling the temperature of the body, might result in erroneous sensations of extreme cold or heat. Shivering even while dressed warmly and experiencing sudden, unexpected temperature swings are some of the symptoms that some early dementia patients report experiencing. Other symptoms include an overwhelming sensation of heat in a cool setting. The woman, who was 68 years old at the time, began wearing winter coats throughout the blazing summer months because she was convinced that she was cold, despite the fact that the temperature was 90 degrees. When she first started having trouble remembering things, her family thought it was just a circulation issue. However, in later years, she started having severe memory lapses. She was given a diagnosis of vascular dementia 1 year after the initial diagnosis. Secondly, having unexpected pain that is not explained and that moves around in different places. Being in pain is something that happens to a lot of people. But what happens when the discomfort spreads to different places of your body for no apparent reason? According to the findings of a study that was carried out in the year 2022, there is a substantial correlation between phantom pain, particularly those aches that are shifting and cannot be explained, and the beginning of early cognitive impairment. When a person has dementia, their brain's ability to feel pain is altered, which results in the transmission of pain signals that are erroneous. Individuals have reported having pain that begins in one region and then moves to another, as well as aches or soreness that do not appear to be caused by any visible damage, and a sensation of being bruised or tender without any obvious cause. It's possible that your brain is trying to tell you that there are underlying neurological problems that require care when you feel pain that is not just persistent, but also unexplainable, and that moves about. A man who was 72 years old said that he was feeling severe aches that quickly moved from his arms to his legs within a short period of time, despite the fact that a cognitive evaluation revealed significant memory gaps. The physician ruled out the idea of there being arthritis. After further investigation, a neurologist verified the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease in its early stages. In the beginning, you should look for any traces of movement or shadows that are flashing. A significant number of people who have dementia report having movement in their peripheral vision, as well as encountering shadows, flickers, or figures that are not truly present. According to the findings of a study that was carried out in the year 2022, phantom visual distortions appeared as one of the early indicators of neurodegenerative alterations. The visual processing center of the brain is prone to malfunctioning, which can result in the generation of movement signals that are not accurate. When people talk about their experiences, they frequently describe seeing shadows or figures darting at the borders of their vision, seeing short bursts of light or unexplained motions, and sense a presence that seems to brush by them. But upon closer scrutiny, there is nothing there. The capacity of the brain to comprehend visual information is decreasing, and this serves as a critical warning because it indicates that this capacity is waning. At the periphery of her field of vision, a woman who was 74 years old frequently observed a shadowy figure darting around. In the first, she thought it was simply her cat. But once her family noticed that she was reacting to things that they couldn't see, they made the decision to speak with a medical professional. There is evidence of mild dementia according to the results of a cognitive evaluation. The phantom sensations that you are experiencing are not at all random. These are warning indicators about the nervous system that manifest themselves years before any memory loss occurs. According to research, as much as 40% of instances of dementia may be avoidable if intervention is carried out at the appropriate time. It is an early evidence of deterioration when the brain starts to misfire sensory impulses, which results in misleading feelings of touch, sound, or movement. This is considered to be a sign of cognitive decline. When these indicators are ignored, cognitive deterioration is allowed to progress without any kind of control. There is no such thing as dementia occurring overnight. By the time major symptoms manifest themselves, significant harm to the brain has already been executed. Through the identification of these early warning indicators, prompt intervention can be carried out before the situation becomes more serious. Well, there you have it. Do you have any thoughts? The next step is to completely submerge yourself in this film in order to gain vital insights that will improve your health and give you the ability to flourish. You are going to adore it completely. We would like to express our gratitude for your time and attention to Wise Senior Health, and we hope to see you again soon.